Hello, what is up guys? This is Baus here and welcome back to Reclaim Reach. Just before this video starts, I would like to explain what's going on because we have not posted in what seems like years, late years, but like we are trying to figure things out right now. We're not really, we're struggling a little bit. I won't even lie, but we promise we're gonna have this figured out soon. Just bear with us, and we'll keep videos coming up at a pretty steady rate soon. Sorry for the interruption, and let's get right into the video. Gruesome, yet devastating, menacing, and damn well one hot babe. This is the story of Captain Del Rio.
Surrender that AI!
No, sir. I'm just fucking around. This is a story and formation of one of the Halo universe's most deadly predators. Not only can he start a full flood invasion in less than a minute, he also has the power to test any power that obligates to obtain the mantle of responsibility. For he is pure shredded evil, surrounded by nothing other than pitch darkness. For he is the Gravemind. While not a lot is known about the Gravemind and how it came to be, there is still a lot of that which remains, including its native species, its instincts, its birthright, and its ongoing motivations for the future. The Gravemind, other known as Inferi Sententia, meaning thinking dead, is on the second final stage in the life cycle of a flood and is the ultimate intelligence of their power. It is a near omniscient creature with a complete control over all flood forms and control over the galaxy. A Gravemind starts out as a proto-Gravemind, a flood form created by merging the bodies and biomass of numerous sentient life forms. Some flood forms may also be repurposed and merged into the Proto-Gravemind. After a Proto-Gravemind has been created, nearby combat forms will continue to supply it with fresh bodies, allowing it to accumulate mass, increase in size, and gain more memories and intelligence from consumed hosts. So if you ever come across a Gravemind, just feed it a bunch of dumbasses, and then you'll win. Eventually, the Proto-Gravemind reaches a certain critical mass and becomes self-aware, a Gravemind. This critical mass tends to be made up of thousands of bodies if using human-sized bodies as a measuring unit. With its combined physical force, strength, and intelligence, this mass-produced creature will take control and command over other flood infection forms and even demand them to attack from his own self-knowledge. The Gravemind and its subordinate flood infection will then continue to accumulate. Eventually, when the flood infection has become too large for even the Gravemind to control, or when no life remains in the galaxy, the flood infection will reach the intergalactic stage, and Flood will leave the galaxy with the intent to create a new Gravemind elsewhere. And according to current Halo knowledge and lore, there can only be one Gravemind at a time roaming the universe. This may not seem like too much to handle, but with its massive life breedings and reproduction of life forms, it's quite made certain that this is a force not to be reckoned with. Courtesy of Art of Halo, it clearly demonstrates that the Gravemind is nothing more than flood power intelligence created by consuming its fallen enemies. Since the Gravemind was only briefly in Halo 2, little is known about the Gravemind's physical form. It is a massive flood form whose mouth resembles a fleshy multi-layered Venus flytrap. The organ is used to speak and to exhale flood spores. The remaining of the Gravemind's body consists of a mass of enormous tentacles. Now, when anyone ever mentions tentacles, shit usually gets weird. So, it only uses it for defensive purposes. Okay, just calm down, please. During the Forerunner Flood War, the very first Gravemind came into internal coordinated existence to command flood fleets and tidal waves against the ongoing enemy of the Forerunners. The Flood were growing in number and quickly were gaining ground across the galaxy. Forerunner commanders realized that their naval tactics were being overcome and a new solution was necessary if the Forerunners were to pull out of this stalemate. A Contender-class artificial intelligence, 32 Mendicant Bias, was crafted by the Forerunners to directly attack the Gravemind form and any surrounding flood biomass in an effort to eliminate the central flood consciousness. At least 4 installations, the Ark, Onyx Shield World, Requiem, and an unnamed Shield World, were constructed by the Forerunners as shelters for themselves when the Halos fired. Eventually, from the persuasive temptations of the Gravemind's moral and dominant power, Mendicant Bias betrayed his former masters and assisted the Flood during the ongoing war, until its sudden defeat by the newly profound constructed Offensive Bias. While the defeat of Mendicant was a success and celebration in a sort of fashion, the Didact, the Master Builder, and even the entire Forerunner race knew that his repentance wouldn't win them the war. Day by day, as this war had massively continued between the two, the Forerunners finally came to a sudden realization that there was only one way to securing victory and peace for their kind, and through the mantle. Graceful sacrifice. Oh boy. The Forerunners began the process on a new galactic weapon, one that shall fulfill a desired promise made by even the librarian herself. This weapon was called Halo. You guys may recognize it. It's actually a pretty well-known old thing here. Now, this weapon in demanding charge would wipe out all sentient life in the entire galaxy and would bring about not only extinction, but rebirth to all generations to come. The weapon was not actually made to completely demolish the Flood, but would leave the Flood with nothing to feed on, which would ultimately destroy it in the long run. While the Forerunners' naval tactics began to fail, they soon realized the war was over. The activation of the Halo array stopped the Gravemind until its return to test the Mantle's oppressors and obtainers yet again. Following the Flood outbreak on Installation 5, the Gravemind rebuilt itself under the library of the installation. However, while the Gravemind particularly takes command of his army, he also serves as a bold aggressor in attacking on special circumstances. If something is relatively important to his doing in the galaxy, and something remarkably abundant, he takes no chance to seek it for himself. A primary example of this uncommon experience is when the Gravemind set out to find the Master Chief and the Arbiter. As you already know of this plot's unfolding as it happened in Halo 2, the Gravemind and the entire galaxy had been in galactic massive danger from the threat of the Halo arrays being activated yet again. While the Gravemind frequently isn't to bond of making temporary alliances with the humans, it honestly had no point in not helping them, because if they did not stop the Halo rings from activating, it would have died too. The characteristics of a Gravemind stretch a far long way. A Gravemind can even alter the prosperity of an AI, an artificial intelligence, altering its communications, its function, and even its lifespan, leaving many Halo theorists to believe that Cortana could have lived longer past her rampancy due to this action after the ending of Halo 2, when Cortana stayed behind on High Charity. During the Battle of Installation 5, the Gravemind was capable of utilizing Delta Halo's teleportation grid. After capturing John 117 and the Arbiter, the Parasite gave them their assignments to stop the Halo's activation, and then teleported them to their respective targets. It is not known how the Gravemind, a non-mechanical Flood form, is able to tap into the teleportation grid, although it is possible. When the Gravemind captured 2401 Penitent Tangent, he absorbed the knowledge of how to access Halo's teleportation grid, just like Cortana on the first Halo when she was in the control center. The Gravemind later used the UNSC in Amber Clad to board the Covenant Holy City High Charity, crashing the frigate into a city wall and releasing numerous pelicans full of the Flood plague. Within days, he took over the entire city and all life within it. The Gravemind initially planned to attack and infest Earth, but through the knowledge of the assimilated Regret and possibly Mercy, he learned that the Prophet of Truth's plan to use the Ark to remotely activate the entire Halo array. Realizing the extent of the danger he faced, the Gravemind did not attack Earth, but instead used High Charity to make a slip space jump and crash land on the megastructure. He briefly allied with John and the Arbiter to stop the Truth from activating the rings, but betrayed them in the moment the crisis was averted. The duo managed to escape from their foe and discovered Cortana's solution to the Flood, a replacement Halo ring made by the Ark. To activate it, John infiltrates High Charity to retrieve Cortana, who has the activation index from the first installation number 4. As John traveled deep into High Charity, he faced multiple flood forms and heard the Gravemind taunt him, allowing Cortana to briefly send pained messages as he corrupted and tortured the UNSC AI. The Gravemind became increasingly frustrated at the Spartan's progress, becoming suspicious of what Cortana was hiding from him, and threatening to feast upon John's bones if she didn't reveal the secret. After John rescued Cortana, the Gravemind became enraged, realizing that she planned to use the incomplete Halo to destroy him. He attempted to kill them both, but failed, and John successfully destroyed High Charity, presumably killing the Gravemind. After traveling to Installation 4B, however, John discovered that the Gravemind was attempting to rebuild itself on the new Halo. The Gravemind ultimately failed to stop John from activating the ring and destroying him, at least for the time being. After Halo 3, the Flood were officially defeated, including the fearsome Gravemind. Humanity proclaimed peace to the galaxy once more after the defeat of the 3 Prophet Hierarchs and the fall of the Covenant Empire. The original Halo trilogy ended with an extraordinary, spectacular bang and one of the biggest cliffhangers in video game entertainment history. Obviously, as you guys will kind of know at this point, the whereabouts of John 117 and his mortal companion Cortana became mysteriously unknown as the UNSC Forward Unto Dawn frigate, I don't even know. I seriously have no frigate or frigate. This is super simple. I should know. Okay. Well, basically, the Forward Unto Dawn emerged apart, sending Chief and Cortana to Slipspace and the Arbiter onto Earth's oceans. Thus, where Halo 4 arrived soon 4 years later, and the Gravemind and the Flood's presence were in defeat and gone from the entire game. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be able to see some more stuff from the Flood and the Gravemind. I'm talking like Halo 6, 343. I'm just saying, please do this. But for what we know right now, the original Gravemind is not here anymore, and you don't have to worry about a slug thing trying to grab you when you're just trying to drown yourself. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the video. This is going to be a very long lore video, but hopefully that's better for you guys. Maybe you guys enjoy long videos. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a blessed day.